Before I start my video, I just want to give you a big thanks for March. Was probably one of my biggest ever months here on YouTube. I had a lot of subscribers. Thank you very much for hitting that subscribe button, guys. It makes a massive difference for YouTubers. If you are someone who watches my videos on a consistent basis, please think about hitting that subscribe button. You can hit the notification bell as well. It will tell you when I release videos and go live on my streams. And it's the easiest way to support a YouTuber, and it's absolutely free, guys. Thank you very much for listening. On to the video. Hello survivors, and welcome to another Walking Dead Road to Survival video. In this video, we're going to be taking a first look at S-Class Rick, who is going to be a promo character in RTS. This is the first Rick character coming to the game in the S-Class era, and it looks like it's the earliest Rick pretty much possible in terms of the visuals. He is Sheriff Rick, he is all intact. It looks like it could potentially be the opening couple of weeks for him in the comic book. He has the bag on his back like he's just gathered a lot of weapons together. Although I haven't read the comic too much, in the TV show, that's pretty much what he did when he went to the police station, just gathered up some stuff to basically go out searching. And visually, he does look pretty cool. I will say that. He's probably the coolest looking Rick, other than the anniversary one that they gave away. The one with the sheriff's hat. The sheriff hat, he just looks cool. Just looks cool. Now we're gonna look at his stats. He's got 3,891 attack, 4,443 defense, and 3,900 HP. This is with 30 veteran rings. This is him fully maxed out. And that's a lot of defense. 4,443. Part of me just wishes it was 4,444, but it's going to be 4,443. Now, his trait is strong, and his role is seen as a medic. We'll take a look at his adrenaline rush. It's called Courageous Ethos. It is a 76 AP cost rush. All teammates get 30% attack and 30% defense for 4 turns. This character gains up to 100% of their max HP and gets 50% bonus HP. So obviously 2 separate sections to this. There's a team buff and then there's a self buff. The all teammates get 30% attack and 30% defense for 4 turns. Heavily reminds me of Survival Road's Ezekiel, giving everyone a big boost. It's going to make a big difference, this character, in terms of his adrenaline rush going off. He's going to make everyone stronger offensively and defensively. Now, the second part is extremely powerful, but it is just himself. I am a big fan of having something tacked on at the end of a rush just to do a self buff, to do something particularly for this character. And 100% HP is huge. Obviously that means you're going to fill up his HP, and then the 50% bonus HP on top. So even if he's got full HP, he'll gain 50% bonus HP. Now, his HP is his lowest stat of the 2, but he will still gain huge amounts. S-Class characters are going to have huge amounts of HP. Behind the right leader, with the right mods, with the right weapon upgrades, he could easily get to 6, 7, 8k HP if you really wanted him to. That means his rush would give him 2,000 to 4,000 bonus HP each pop. That is a lot. We'll shift across to his active skill, and it is Revive and Recover Normalize. It has an initial cooldown of 3, cooldown of 2, and number of uses 5. Revive one teammate with 25% of their max HP. This character recovers from Normalize. Now, in terms of the timings, this is actually pretty good timing. Generally, people have rushed by turn 2 or turn 3, and then on a defense team, this character would then be able to active and pick up anyone who was taken out who wasn't decapped. The revive only gives 25% of the max HP, but defense team characters do have masses of HP, masses of defense, so it'll still be picking up characters with between 2,000 and 3,000 HP still. It would most likely still require a rush to take anyone down who is picked up by Rick, as long as they were modded correctly. The second part is this character recovers from Normalize, and obviously Normalize means that someone's specialist skill is being neutralized effectively. It can no longer be used. The specialist skill is useless. Now, this will cause trauma to Rick if he has got that debuff on him, just like always, but it would only obviously do it with that one thing. If Rick was debuffed with 4 or 5 different things and he had Normalize and he recovered it, he would only take the trauma damage once. I think recovering Normalize is actually pretty good, but generally it depends on the specialist skill itself. And looking at Rick's specialist skill, he is going to be the first S-Class command as well. Obviously, when this character defends, the previous ally to take an action this turn will receive a bonus action that ally will be unable to act the next turn. So you know how it works basically. If you attack with someone and then they gain their rush to be able to rush the next turn, you can use the active skill and then that person can rush that turn, but then they will lose their next turn. It's actually pretty beneficial, especially if they've got their rush, because you'd rush anyway the next turn the majority of the time. So it is actually quite beneficial to get that rush off early most of the time, especially if you've got things like crosshairs up, or there's a very limited amount of characters still alive, or you've got a very powerful character that you can actually get the rush off of. Let's say Priya with Rampage fully decked out, you can generally guarantee a certain amount of power with that. So it's good to get those sort of things off as early as possible. If you have a character like Arav, you can effectively make him rush 3 times in one turn. He can rush normally. If he takes someone down, he can then rush again because of his specialist skill, and then you can command him to rush a 3rd time. So the command combo with certain damage dealing S classes is very powerful. Obviously, the biggest letdown in the S class era is that 6-star commands are just kind of weak. They get absolutely destroyed, especially on defense teams. If you've got a command on a defense team, you could basically guarantee that that guy is probably being taken out in the 1st turn, or at least being controlled in the 1st turn while people get their rushes up, and then he is going to get focus rush just because he enables S-class characters to get their rushes off earlier. It is very dangerous. Now when it comes to Rick, you're looking at a character that's got 3 times the stats of a 6-star character. So instantly, this guy is going to be a massive problem compared to the 6-star commands on defense teams. Now on attack teams, it's not going to make as big a difference in terms of the pure stats, but obviously he will be able to survive if he gets focused. He has got an active revive, which I have been using Slater recently, and I have found that very useful, especially on characters like Arav, just because if I do rush and he has got exhaust, he will be taken down, and then I can pick him back up instantly to be able to go the next turn or get full war points. Now Rick has also got a weapon, and it is extremely powerful in my opinion. It has got 30% base HP, and that plays into his rush, giving himself bonus HP, so his HP is obviously getting boosted up to around about where his defense is right now actually. It would generally be better to increase percentage based on the defensive stat that you have higher, just because you're going to give it a bigger outcome, but because of that 50% bonus HP on the rush, I like the HP here. Bonus to AP when taking damage, that's the upgrade slot. Now this is kind of difficult to understand where you're going to go here. Should you go AP on attack when this guy's most likely going to command on the defense team? Should you make it more defensive? Just do 30% defense here. It generally is up to you. Do you want him to rush more often, or do you want him to stay alive for longer? That's pretty much the question you've got to ask yourself. Now the 3rd slot is a tier 4. I believe this is the first tier 4 special that we've seen on an S class. It is bonus AP and bonus HP. All team members receive 8% AP and 8% bonus HP at the beginning of each wave. Now the old school tier 3 was just bonus AP with the 8% bonus, but the HP on top will be very nice for both defense and attack teams realistically, just to give them a bit of a cushion. Defense teams, while they don't hit that hard, offensive teams don't really have good defensive stats, so having a boost of HP will be nice. Now the best thing about Rick being a strong character is he generally speaking would have 3 good weapon options. The base weapon is great, so I would definitely upgrade it as it is. Make it a 5-star weapon and then swap it into his hands to replace it with. Do not get rid of their bonus AP and HP, because one day it could become useful for you. That is extremely rare. It is off trait because it's normally for fast characters, but also you're getting something that can take people 30 goes to get instantly. Now the weapon options he's got is he has got stun on attack if you want to go for that on an attack team, so he's got a bit of control. Generally on that 1st turn you sometimes will attack with your command unless you have Doc Stevens, that sort of thing, but generally speaking from the 2nd turn forward you will start commanding, so you might get 1 stun in basically. The other option you've got, and this will be mainly useful for a defense team, if you do have the axe that has absolute defense on it, it's a off-trait special axe that is a strong axe. You could potentially put that in his hands on a defense team, and that would be very strong as well. It isn't the tier 4 special, but absolute defense alone is really good. If you've got a command on a defense team, you're generally going to try and focus that character, because focusing commands is safety, because you know they can't command themselves. If that guy's got absolute defense, you're not getting AP. and that's a big problem for your attack team. So very nice weapon options for this character, and I really do like this base weapon. You can potentially put him on a full fast attack team, and he will give the 8% AP bonus that a lot of those fast characters can do, and you can build certain teams with Arav, 20% weapon to himself that you can get in current events and on the 4-star weapon wheel. There is some very good potential teams that you can build this character just based on this weapon. So all in all, I think Rick is a very strong character. Obviously, the first command, regardless of what rush they had, regardless of what active they had, regardless of what weapon they had, just based on the fact that they got better stats, would instantly be good. Instantly. Now, the fact this guy has a really good active, it can obviously be dazed, you know, you can counter actives now, but the revive active is huge. The weapon is amazing, but the specialist skill just alone, like I said, it just makes it such a good character. Generally speaking, you can't really go wrong with getting a command. Most people run with a command on a defense team or an attack team, and this would just be an instant upgrade for, like, I would go ahead and say probably like 90% of the community who run commands, this will be an instant upgrade. And it is also an old school comic character, which I have seen a lot of people requesting heavily. This is the first Rick. We're probably going to be seeing Michonne, Negan in the coming weeks and months. We'll have to wait and see. Do tell me what you think about Rick here as an S-class character, guys. What do you like the most about him? Visuals, rush, active, specialist skill, weapon. He's got a lot going on here. That is the end of my video. Thank you very much for tuning in. And as always, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving.